Good morning, children. How are you? I hope you all are studying and fit at home. In your previous chapter, we have studied about the landforms of India. Then we have studied the government of India. And after that, we have studied about the food we eat. And now we are going to start our chapter number 10, that is means of transport. So over here you can see it is chapter number 10 after chapter number 6. Yes, we have deleted chapter number 7, 8 and 9 from your term 1 syllabus. So now we are going to start chapter number 10, and that is means of transport. So now let's start our chapter. Now first we'll see what we are going to learn in this chapter. So first one is land transport, then air transport, and then water transport. So all these three transports we are going to learn in our chapter number 10. So now let's start our chapter. Now tell me, children, how you go to school every day. And if you want to go to meet your cousins or your friends in another city, so what you will do? And if you want to go to other country to meet your relatives or your cousins or your friends, so what you will do? So how you will travel? So all these questions answers we will get in our chapter means of transport. And here you can see there are some means of transport. So children, we need to travel from one place to another all the time. We can walk to places which are very close. Like if you want to go to your friend's house in your city, so you will go by walking. But if you want to meet your friend who is in another country or in another city, you will use different means of transport. So if you want to go to meet your friends in another city or far away places, so you will use bicycles, auto, scooter, cars and buses and trains and ships and aeroplane. So all these are means of transport by which we can travel from one place to another. Now let's see next, children. So over here some more points are given about means of transport. So now let's read it out. Means of transport can carry both people and goods from one place to another. So means of transport can carry both people also and even goods also from one place to another. Now let's see next. The kind of transport we choose will depend on the distance to be travelled, the money we spend and the time available. So means of transport when we choose, so first it depends on the distance to be travelled. So if we want to just go to a friend's house in our city or close by, so we will use bicycle. But if in a city only a friend is living far away, so we will use other means of transport. And if a friend is living in another country, so we will use train, bus and aeroplane. So it depends on the distance to be travelled. Then it also depends on the money we can spend. So the means of transport also depend on the money. So for example, if we want to go to Delhi, so we can use train, bus and aeroplane. But it also depends on the money. So all three means of transport, aeroplane, bus and train, they are having different charges. So how much money we are having, according to that we choose the means of transport. And next it also depends on the time available. So if we are in a hurry and we want to reach fast, so we will choose train or an aeroplane. So according to the time available, we will choose a means of transport. So the kind of transport we choose, it depends on three things. One is distance to be travelled and the money we can spend and the time available. So on these three things, the kind of transport we choose depend. Now let's see next. So over here one did you know is given, and this did you know is also given in your book in chapter number 10. So now let's read it out. The first motor car was built by Nicholas Joseph Cognut in 1769. So the first motor car was built by Nicholas Joseph Cognut in 1769. So here you can see the picture of motor car which was built by Nicholas. Next, what is written about it? It had 3 wheels and went only 6 kilometers in an hour. So you can see in this picture it is having 3 wheels and it went only 6 kilometers in an hour. So this is the first motor car which was built in the year 1769. Now let's see next. So now next is land transport. So now let's read it out. Some means of transport move only on land. So some means of transport, you have seen in the previous picture that there are transport which can move on land and then which can move on water and which can move in air. So there are some means of transport which can only move on land. So they are train, buses, cars, tractors, trucks, scooters or scooties, rickshaw, bicycles, then bullock cart, camel cart. So these all are means of land transport. Now let's see next. So now let's read it out, children. Land transport is the most common means of transporting people and goods from one place to another. So land transport is the most common means of transporting people and goods from one place to another. Even we are using land transport. So what are the land transport what we are using? We are using bicycles, scooties, scooters, bikes, cars. All these means of transport we are using in our everyday life. So that is why land transport is the common means of transporting people and goods from one place to another. Now let's see next. Now again one did you know is given and it is given in your chapter 10. Now let's read it out. India has one of the largest railway network in the world. So India has one of the largest railway network in the world. China's CRH 380 bullet train is one of the fastest train in the world. So China's CRH 380 bullet train is one of the fastest train of the world. It is 3 times faster than Bhopal Shatabdi, India's fastest train. So you know that Bhopal Shatabdi is India's fastest train. So the bullet train of China is 3 times faster than Bhopal Shatabdi. So now you understood how much fast the bullet train of China is. So now let's see the picture of bullet train and also the picture of Bhopal Shatabdi. So here you can see in these two pictures, this one you can see this is Bhopal Shatabdi, India's fastest train. And here you can see this is China's CRH 380 bullet train, one of the fastest train in the world, and it is 3 times faster than India's fastest train Bhopal Shatabdi. Now let's see next. Now the next topic is air transport. So now we'll understand what is air transport. Some means of transport move only in the air. So you know aeroplanes, helicopters, they move only in the air. Train, buses, bicycles, trucks, they cannot move in the air. Only aeroplanes and helicopters, so they can move in the air. Aeroplanes and helicopters are means of air transport. So aeroplanes and helicopters are means of air transport. So you have seen that by aeroplane and by helicopters, people and goods are transported from one place to another. So aeroplane and helicopter, they are used for transporting people and goods from one place to another. So they are the means of air transport. Now let's see next. So here again you can see the picture of aeroplane, and where it is standing? It is standing on airport. So likewise buses have bus stop and trains have railway stations. In the same way aeroplane has airport. If we want to travel by aeroplane, we have to go to airport. So now let's read it out some more information about it. Aeroplanes take off from airport. So from where aeroplane take off? They take off from airport. Air travel is expensive, but it is very fast. So among land, water and air transport is the fastest means of transport, but it is expensive means of transport. Our country has a large network of airways. We have domestic airlines and even we have international airlines. By domestic airlines we can travel in a country, and by international airlines we can travel in the whole world. Next, in our country, the big cities, they have airports. Our city Itarsi is not having airport because it is not so big like other big cities. Itarsi is only a town, so that is why Itarsi is not having an airport. Now let's see next. So now let's talk about our next topic, that is water transport. So now let's read it out first. Some means of transport move only on water. So there are some means of transport that move only on water. So they are ships, boats and steamers. So these are example of water transport. Now let's see next. Water transport is slow as compared to land and air travel. So we have seen land transport also and air transport also. So water transport is the slowest transport among these three transport: air, water and land transport. So it is the slowest transport. Now let's read out the next point. Ships are used to transport huge quantities of goods to other country. Ships are used to transport huge quantities of goods to other countries. So here in this picture you can see it is a ship and it is transporting huge quantities of goods to other country. Here you can see these are goods and they are in a huge quantity, and the ships are used to transport these huge quantities of goods to other countries. Now let's see next. So now this did you know is given in your book in chapter number 10. So now let's read it out. The catamaran is a boat made of two logs tied together. So the catamaran is a boat made of two logs tied together. So there are two logs and they are tied together. Here in this picture also you can see this is catamaran boat, and this boat is made by tying two logs together. So this is a catamaran boat. The Parava people, a fishing community from Tamil Nadu, are credited with its invention. So there is a community in Tamil Nadu and their name is Parava, and these people have made this catamaran boat, and it is their invention because they have created this boat by tying two logs together. So now let's see next. And children, this picture is also given in your book on page number 62. And in this picture you can see fisherman in a catamaran boat. So now let's see next. Let's understand about the transport of different areas. So now let's read it out. So now let's understand the transport of different areas and also how animals are used for transportation, and also how animals used for transport. Now let's read out the first point. For thousands of years, humans have used animals as a means of transport. So, thousands of years ago, humans have used animals as a means of transport, and even today, we are using animals as a means of transport. In hilly areas, ponies and mules are used to carry goods and people. So here you can see the picture of mules, that they are used in hill areas for transporting goods. So here in this picture you can see they are used in hill areas for transporting goods and people. Now let's see next. Let's read out this information related to this picture. So in desert areas, camels are used to carry people and pull carts. So here you can see in this picture, here camel is used to carry people also, and it is used to pull carts also in the desert area. A camel is called the ship of the desert. So in your previous class, class 2, class 1, you have also studied that camels are called the ship of the desert because it is the best means of transport in desert. Now let's see next. Here you can see again one more animal, and what is it? It is elephant. So elephants are used to move logs and people in thick forest. Here you can see this log is tied with the elephant, and elephant is pulling the log. So here you can see this log is tied with the elephant, and the elephant is pulling the log. So elephants are used to move logs and people in thick forest. So here you can see this forest. So camels are used in thick forest to move logs and people. So now let's read it out. Information related to this picture. In our villages, bullock carts, bicycles and tractors are some of the common means of transport. So here in this picture you can see there is bullock cart, bicycle and tractors. So where all these means of transport are used? These all means of transports are used in our villages. So you have seen also in your villages that there is bullock carts and bicycles and tractors. So these are the common means of transport in villages. Now let's see next. So now let's read it out. However, in our country and cities, one can see tongas, bicycles, buses, cars, rickshaws, scooters and trucks. So all these means of transport we can see in our towns and cities. So now let's see their picture. So here in this picture you can see this is tonga, and here you can see bicycle. Then next, here you can see buses, auto or rickshaw, trucks, and here you can see scooty or scooter. So these are the common means of transport which are used in our cities and in our towns. So in our town Itarsi also we have seen these means of transport. So now let's read it out. What is written? Faster means of transport have brought us closer to our near and dear ones. So faster means of transport like buses, trains and aeroplanes. So they have brought us closer to our near and dear ones. Whenever we need to move in a city, in other city or in other country, we can use these means of transport. So means of transport have brought us closer to our near and dear ones. Now we can use any of the means of transport and we can travel in the whole world, in another city or even in our town. So means of transport are important for all of us. So review time children now. Now let's revise what we have studied till now. So now let's revise what we have studied. Means of transport are used to carry people and from one place to another. So this we have studied in the starting of the chapter. So this we have studied that means of transport are used to carry people and goods from one place to another. Trains, buses, trucks, cars, scooters and bullock carts are means of land transport. So trains, bus, trucks, cars, scooters, bullock carts, camel carts. So these all move on land. So that is why they are called land transport. Aeroplane and helicopters are means of air transport. So helicopter and aeroplane are means of air transport because they move in the air. Now let's see next what more we have studied. So we have studied about ships, boats and steamer are means of water transport. So this also we have studied that ships, boats, steamers, so these are means of water transport because they move only in water. That is why they are called as water transport. Then next we have studied in India we have a large network of roadways, railways and even airways. So we are having a large network of roadways, railways and airways. Then next, so we have seen that animals are used as a means of transport in hills, deserts and forest. In the olden days also animals were used as a means of transport, and even today animals are used as a means of transport in hills, deserts and forest. Though we are having modern means of transport like air transport, water transport and land transport, but still we are using animals as a means of transport in hills, deserts and forests. In hills we have seen ponies, animals are used, and then we have seen in desert camels are used, and in forest elephants are used as a means of transport. Now let's see next. So now homework children. Now what is your homework for today? In which year the first motor car was built? So you have to find out in which year the first motor car was built, and this we have already discussed and studied in our chapter. Then what is catamaran? Then what do you understand by land transport, air transport and water transport? Next, you have to learn and write question and answers of the chapter in your revision copy, rough copy or even in your homework copy. And children, you also have to learn question and answers and exercise of all the chapter. Now is the time for me to leave children. I hope you have understood means of transport. So now I'll meet you in a next class. Till then, take care of yourself and study well.